Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Counselor's Couch 101. My name is Jim Stump. If you'd like to communicate with us, have any stories you want to share, any requests that you have, any situations that you'd like direction with, you can leave it in the comments. And if it is a long story, please email it over to us at counselorscouch101@mail.com. All lowercase, no spaces, no apostrophe. counselorscouch101@mail.com. As you all know, the reason I'm here is because of this guy right there. By the way, my favorite video up until a few days ago was bottle fishing. Now, if you go to YouTube and you look up homesteading off the grid and type in bottle fishing, you'll find it, I think. This one here has become my new favorite. Go to homesteading off the grid, type in gifting. This is really a masterpiece of work. It's really well done. Story is well done. The photography is excellent. I don't know. He just sets a mood. It really is fine work. This gentleman asked me to come on and to pick up some slack that he felt was going on. He said that he was getting requests for personal advice and he didn't feel qualified to give it. Well, I'm nobody special. I'm just a worker in the field. I'm a soldier in the trenches. I'm got no particular skill or anything, nothing to lay my claim to fame on. Just work and try to help people out because that sort of like makes my life worthwhile if I can be of benefit to someone else. And I'm asking other counselors who want to come and join in this endeavor. We can get a sort of a pool together. I don't know exactly how it's going to work right now, but we'll figure it out. When things come in, I can put it into a pool for the counselors and let all the counselors give their suggestions, and I'll put it all together, synthesize it, and present it to folks here, mostly to educate the general public and to have sympathy for people with issues, but also possibly to direct people who are having problems and issues, direct them in a direction that they might find more helpful and like that. So if you're a counselor and want to get involved, send me an email, counselorscouch101@mail.com, and please let me know whether or not I can use your name and if I can use your location and like that. We're not likely to get business out of this, but we probably can build up a good little coalition to help people in the public. That would be a good thing. Anyway, go check them out. Homesteading off the grid, gifting. Excellent, excellent video. For me, one of the hardest requests I get in counseling has to do with children, and even more specifically with teenagers. Oftentimes, parents will drag some young boy in, 15, 16, or at worst, the worst is 17, and they'll say, fix this guy. He's being unruly. He won't mind us. He stays up all night playing video games. He falls asleep at school when he bothers to go to school. We want you to fix him. And the thing of it is, the stuff the parents are suggesting is too late. They want to punish the kid to get him to obey. And at 17, that horse is left. It's gone. It's too late for that. The time to start educating the children is the day they are born, right? The idea is to teach them up in the way that they should grow, they should be in the world. We're not trying to raise children. We're trying to raise adults. So we want to teach them how to be a successful adult and have a successful life and like that. Like I say, not too long ago, parents brought in a 17-year-old son, and they complained of the things I just mentioned above. Excuse me one second. Salesman calling in the middle of our taping session. Father was really, really angry. He wanted to take everything away from the kid, particularly all his electronics, because he was spending hours upon hours, 10, 12 hours a day, playing video games online. Father wanted to take it away. Kid was not studying, did no homework at all, absolutely nothing. The father was really, really angry. Now, as you might guess, the mother was really, really protective of her son, and she was saying, we have to let the boy find his own way, etc., etc. And she was not in favor of taking anything away from the boy or punishing him in any regard whatsoever. You can imagine that put a very big rift between the husband and the wife, and it looked to me like they were headed for divorce, right? There was going to come a time when the husband said, look, it's either me or him. and she was going to pick him. That was very, very clear. Could mess up the entire family. At that point, I said, we can't do any of this stuff. We can't go back and redo the parenting that we did not do when it was appropriate to do it. I'm not talking about corporal punishment, nothing like that at all. When children are little and they're able to understand things, even at 2, but at least by 3, you start talking to them about the choices they made, the behavior they were doing, etc., and asking them how they think that was going to turn out. Would they like it if someone would to treat them that way as well? We educate them as to how to be in life, and we can give them your ideals of how people should behave, particularly adults in the world, and let them decide for themselves whether or not they're going to follow it. It not only empowers you, it empowers the child to start thinking, I can make choices in my life. I can become who I want to become. Now it's a question of me deciding what kind of a person I want to be in the world. Bring them up that way. The whole idea, someone once said, and I forget who it was, they said, from the time they were born to the time they leave the house, the whole idea is that every year we open our hands a little bit more as the child develops and becomes more and more his own person, his or her independent, separate life. We open our hands until we get to the point where we're releasing them entirely and they are able to step out into the world, right? But back to the 17-year-old and this couple, I really felt sorry for him. I empathized and understood the father, absolutely understood him. I was raised the same way. You do what your dad tells you to do. And there was no corporal punishment involved, but pretty much we followed the rules. We were taught to follow rules. And it wasn't because the parents were trying to punish us. They were trying to teach us how to be in the world, right? So I told this couple, I said, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing you can do for your 17-year-old son, who simply will not listen to you, he just simply ignores everything you say. He won't do any help around the house, no chores whatsoever. He's up all night playing video games, falling asleep at school if he bothers to go to school. I said, the best thing I think you could do for him is to let him experience the consequences of his choices and his behavior. I said, he's too old to punish. You can't lock him in his room. You can't start telling him he can't go out and play with his bicycle. None of that is going to work. It'll only put resentment in this person who is nearly fully grown man ready to step out into the world. So let him experience it. Don't hold him up and give him all the things he needs in order to survive. That's what mom wanted to do. She wanted to be codependent in the son's very, very poor behavior, right? And of course, that was infuriating the father and like that. The couple was as strange as you can imagine, even while they were still in the house all together, a family in the same unit, right? But they were going to have problems in the future, it was very clear. The idea is to bring children up and let them learn how to achieve their own autonomy over time. I'm trying to think of something I had in my mind earlier about raising children when they were younger, right? We want to show them the way to go and all that, but we want to let them make choices. The big thing we want to do as children is we want to learn who they are. We don't want to tell them children should be seen and not heard. We want to say, what do you think? What do you like? What do you want to do with your life? I want to listen to this person. I want to understand this person, because when I understand a person, I can offer a suggestion that might be helpful. Until I know who that person is, I can pretty much just shoot in the dark, have no idea if I'm being helpful or not, right? So the whole idea with children is their personalities are largely formed by the age of 7, right? Between 3 and 7, they're taking down, they're injecting all the sorts of things they're going to be in life. And after that point, their personality probably doesn't change very much. As they start going to school and they go on through high school and college, etc., they're going to gain more information. They're going to gain experience, but their basic personality is set, and it is set at a very early age. We want to fill them up with love. We want to fill them up with understanding, and we want to pay attention and listen to who they are. So when they're 17, they're not going to be staying up all night watching video games, because they understand they want something greater than a job at McDonald's if they can get it, And I don't know why everybody puts down McDonald's jobs. I worked at McDonald's when I was in high school. It was an excellent experience. It allowed me to learn how to be in the world, how to earn money, and how to spend it without overspending or not having enough of the things I want. Right. I was talking to another gentleman. He was telling me about having 6 kids in his house and like that. And he told me he did everything for them. Wife didn't have to work. Kids did not have to work. They could do whatever they wanted, whatever they pleased, whatever they desired, he would get for them. He was not particularly wealthy, but he was a hard worker. He gave them cell phones. He gave them tablets and TV sets and internet access. Gave his wife cars, gave her clothes and jewelry. And he said he was worried because his kids were really lazy. And I said, no kidding, they're lazy. Why should they get up and do something? You're doing everything for them. And he told me that he had a 21-year-old daughter who was not going to school. She was in college for a while. She stopped attending, and she was just sitting around the house all day watching television. And I said, have you ever asked her to pay rent? She's 21 years old. And he said, no. And I said, why not? He said, because it's my daughter. I love her. I want to take care of her. I want her to know that whatever she does in life, I'm going to support her. I'm going to help her out. I say, yeah, but the problem is you're keeping her weak. When you ask her to pay rent, it's not because you need the rent money. What you need is for your daughter to learn how to be in the world, how to be an adult in the world and take care of adult responsibilities and pay her own way through life. That's what you need. It's not the money she can give you. It's her education as to what life is like in the real world. That's what you can give to your daughter at 21 who's sitting around doing nothing. Oftentimes, particularly nowadays, parents want to spoil their kids. Kids are extremely entitled, and this is not healthy. It's not healthy for them. I said to that guy with the 6 kids, I said, what if something happened to you? Then what happens to all your kids and your wife? They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to survive in the world. You've actually done them a disservice by not allowing them to take their falls and take their education from living life. I said, start requesting things of them that will teach them how to be and teach them how to grow up and be responsible adults, right? Just some thoughts on that kind of stuff. Just thoughts on parenting. Remember, we are not trying to raise children. We are trying to raise adults. Teach them how to be adults, responsible people in the world who take care of themselves and can have benefit others because they know how to be successful. Raise adults. Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk with you next time.